Hi, I'm Peggy Beauregard. We are the Real Estate Matchmakers for your financial freedom. We match cash to deals and deals to cash. We save you time and you make money. The deals come to us, which are all real estate. The returns go to you. Today we are talking about your children's savings accounts. When is the appropriate time for your children to start their own account? Younger than you think. You would be surprised. Start with a piggy bank. It doesn't have to be a pig. It could be anything. They make all kinds of great little piggy banks now. We still call them piggy banks. You could take them when they're old enough that they understand a bank and a little bit about the system. You could take them to the bank to open a savings account. That's really a great thing to take them, and you could take them to the bank all the time when you're cashing checks, so they already know about the bank. It's not like it's a scary thing. You just make an appointment and sit down with the banker and they open an account for you. You explain what the opportunities there are for saving for the future. Kids are very much in the present. There is no future for them. There is only the now. So eventually they do get it. You do need to talk to them about, and I'm sure you already talked to them about, oh, we're going to take a vacation next week. We're going to take a trip, or you're going to go to school. We all talk about the future. And so they do understand that. Explain to them why a charge card is debt. It is not credit. You don't get to spend that. You are charging something and going into debt, and then you have to pay that back. They need to understand that. They need to understand that if you don't pay it back within the 25 days or whatever the due date is and pay the entire thing off, that they are going to make all the interest, the charge card company, and that you will be in debt until that is paid off at whatever the interest rate is, which is now 16 to 24%. You want to get out of debt? Throw your charge cards out or make sure you pay them off every single month. And then explain to them what is a check. I was standing in line one day at the grocery store, and here's the kid in the basket goes, I write check, because that's what his mom did at the grocery store. She wrote a check for her groceries. So they learn. I don't think that this child understood, but she certainly knew that a check was written, even though she didn't know what a check was. And then you might explain to your children about cash and how you get cash and what cash is used for, how you get a check every week or month or however often you get paid, and that you deposit part in the bank account and that you cash some of it so that you could go to the store and pay cash for things, or have a little cash in the house for when the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts come around with their cookies or whatever they're selling. Or you go outside the grocery store and you see the kids that need to raise funds for their uniforms. There's always somebody outside there that's looking for a little bit of a handout, and it's always nice to have a little cash to give them. So show your kids your paycheck so they can see, look, this is a check. Now we go to the bank and put it in the bank, and let them learn what the process is. The more they understand, the easier it's going to be to educate them. So let them understand that you earn a wage and that sometimes you get a raise on that, and then that there are expenses on that, and that check pays for the rent and the food and the utilities and your vacations and the transportation to get to work, and for the children's clothes and their transportation to get to school. All of that. They will understand. You can't start too early. Believe me, they will understand. And you could ask them to put a budget together, not when they're little, but when they get close to teenage, they'll understand. You could ask them to put a budget together, and then you could have a discussion with them about, would they like to get all the money that's in their budget, and then they live on that budget. They don't get any more money. And I know some kids that do that. They would rather have the money and do their own budget than to get an allowance or have their parents pay for everything. And that's really, really smart. So the budget. And remember, in that budget, they need to put the meal costs. How much does it cost to serve them dinner, breakfast, lunch, etc.? If you give them school money to buy their lunch, they'll know how much that costs. When you're making dinner for everyone, what does a quarter of a chicken cost, for instance? And the transportation to get there, and then all their activities. Don't those activities cost money? They need to understand. When they understand, you will see a shift about what they choose to do and what they choose to pass on. And then ask them how they would earn money if they had to pay. And kids are so creative. Oh my God, it'll be so much fun to hear the things that they say that they could do. And you know what? I bet they could. I wanted to show you this book, Make Your Kid a Money Genius. And if you look at it, we'll start at the bottom. Oh, my finger's over there. See, 3 years old. So Beth Kobliner says that's the time to actually start talking to them about cents. And then if you see all these cents and dollar signs, cents, they learn more. Now they're up into the dollars. Now they understand a lot about money. And now, of course, at 23, they could be off on their own. Budget's really important. And here's one of the great things in this book. Sometimes families face some difficult times. You don't have to tell them exactly what the difficulty is, but you can tell them how you're going to deal with that difficulty. You can say, well, we're not going to eat out as much. We're going to eat home more because it costs less to eat at home. Everybody has a difficult time. I don't know anybody that hasn't faced something in their life that they need to pull things in and live a little tighter. Think about that and the discussions you could have with your kids. It would be so much fun. Kids are so imaginative. They will come up, well, if you ever watched Art Linkletter, the craziest things the kids will say. I would like to know if any of you have your kids on a budget, if they created their own budget, and if they are living within that budget. So please reply with my kids live within their budget, or they haven't created a budget yet. Thanks. We'll chat next time in another subject on creating the wealth and preserving it.